This is WYGG 88.1 FM, Asbury Park.
We all can agree that raising a family in these times is challenging, with everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it. How do we find the balance?
Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics, because you know once I get home they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Mickelson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matters Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
No, I never had it.
Bonsoir tout le monde, bienvenue dans Family Matters, programme présenté par The Good News Community Action, Radio Bonne Nouvelle, chaque samedi, 4h pour 5h. Répétez encore à chaque dimanche 3h pour 4h. Moi c'est Elna, je dis c'est 4e, right?
Yes.
4e samedi dans le mois de septembre. Aujourd'hui c'est 23, ça veut dire que nous allons parler de finance, qui gens que typiquement nous allons parler aujourd'hui, hein, c'est qui gens ou qu'à sécurer l'argent pour qu'à mettre un bon offre sur quoi que vous voulez acheter, hein, ou bien si que c'est un building ou bien un propriété acheter ou besoin assurer pour faire un investissement. On va parler sur ça et puis nous allons parler un expert qui pourra aller pour nos conseils pour expliquer nous qui je sais pour aller. So, moi content ensemble avec nous après-midi ça. Bienvenue. Moi espérer que nous été sur Radio Bonne Nouvelle 88.1 FM WYGG pour jusqu'à 5h pour nous finir ensemble avec le programme pour aujourd'hui. So welcome to Family Matters, presented to you by Good News Community Action every Saturday from 4 to 5, repeated again from Sundays to 4. My name is Alna. And today we're going to discuss how to secure funding for a great offer on a personal home that you want to purchase or on an investment property that you may be interested in. And today we have with us in the studio my real estate partner, Gregory Jean.
Hello, como no.
So I'm happy to have him with us. We talk about these things, finances. We do financial literacy, business education every fourth Saturday of the month. So today is that day. So here are the ways to listen. If you are on the website, you can go to goodnewsradiotv.com. If you're on Facebook, you can go to WYGG Good News Radio, or you can listen on the phone by dialing 518-906-1596. And if you're listening on Facebook, don't forget to leave us a comment or give us a thumbs up, follow us on Facebook. And if you like the content of this program or any of the programs presented by Good News Radio, feel free to go to the website and click the donate button and donate to Good News Radio, or you can continue to donate the way that you have already been doing so, because remember, the radio station is listener supported. So we are looking for sponsors for this program and other programs on the radio. I just want you guys to remember that no donation is too small. So if you're interested in doing so, Feel free to reach out to us while we're on the air today. The phone number is 732-775-0220 or 732-775-0225. Again, you can use that number to call in to participate in the discussion, to know that, so we can know that you are listening, that we're not looking. Right? So give us a call, even if it's just to say, hi, Elda, how you doing today? It's Saturday afternoon. It's pouring like madness outside. It's going to be raining all day today because it's a storm
Correct.
that we're actually in. And I think Monmouth County is getting hit the heaviest out of all the counties. But it's raining everywhere. And it's probably going to be raining up until tomorrow, I do believe.
Yes.
So
all weekend.
we're in it for the long haul, but we came out here in the rain.
Yes.
So we want to know that we're not doing this for nothing,
Yes.
you know, that you are listening and that you are getting something out of this.
Because we care to give you as much information as possible.
Absolutely.
You know, to help you.
Absolutely. So I want to give you like a rundown of what we're going to be discussing. So how to secure funding for a great offer. First of all, we want to talk about what is considered to be a good offer, what offers are considered to be rejection proof. How can I secure funding resources to help me make a good offer? What is the process that you need to go through to secure the funding for your offer? And for that, we're going to have our special guest that will call in later. His name is Lynn Perry from Van Dyke Mortgage. He's going to break down the steps on how to do so. He will walk you through what needs to happen once you contact the lender to secure your mortgage funding, what documents you will need, and how long the mortgage commitment is good for. And then we're going to discuss what are the simple things that you should be doing daily to work towards your goal of being ready to shop for a mortgage. Okay, but before that, I am going to offer you the resources that we have for you today. So I think I've been telling you for the past 3 weeks that there is a job fair happening in the Monmouth County area at Brookdale Community College. It's going to be Thursday, September 28th from 10 to 1 p.m. They have early access for people with disabilities and veterans from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. But for everyone else, it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's Thursday, September 28th. It's at the Brookdale Community College Collins Arena, which is parking lot number 7. That's how you're going to access that building. And if you don't know, the address to Brookdale Community College is 765 Newman Springs Road in Lincroft, New Jersey. Okay, and I always let you know if you're in the Neptune area and you need job-seeking resources, you can always go to the Workforce Development Center, which is located at 60 North Taylor Avenue in Neptune. I should probably say these things in Creole, right? I always forget to give the announcements in Creole. Si ke nou gen moun ki bezon chache travay, gen job fair ki a fet nan Brookdale Community College, Collège Brookdale Community, jeudi 28 septembre, 10h pour 1h. The Brookdale Community College adresse yo c'est 765 Newman Springs Road nan Lincroft. Et puis li nan parking lot numéro 7 nan Collins Arena. C'est là y a fait job fair lan. Job fair la yon paquet différentes compagnies kap la, y ap gen tab yo, y ap gen informasyon yo, y ap gen aplikasyon yo, ki nou table aplike, e pi gen tout, paske mde kon atende sa job fair Brookdale fair, they do like on a large scale.
Mm-hmm. Very large.
Vraiment gros, on paquet moun ki la, on paquet différents compagnies ki la, nan tout étage, tankou genyen municipal, genyen state, genyen
local.
like the local ones.
Mhm.
They have
Please, yeah,
genyen
you
like
can.
county Ankila.
Yes.
And then they have like all the other like, you know, rehab centers, all the other types of jobs. You think about the job, Home Depot. You think about the place,
Yes.
if it offers work, they're probably going to be there
Yeah.
with their table. And some of them likely will do interviews on the spot. So
Mhm.
we encourage you, if you don't have a job, there's jobs out there. Go and apply. Take a leap of faith. You know, if you're a good worker, if you advocate for yourself and show that, you know, that you are that you want the job, the desire for the job, and that you promote yourself like a good worker, someone is going to take a chance on you and offer you that job, and from there you can start to build longevity, because you're going to need a good job, and you're going to need how many years of a good job?
2 years of work history.
2 years of work history to do what, Greg?
For a strong guy.
That's right.
For you to buy a house, you need it. So definitely go there. It's an abundant of many different people who are going to be there, dress appropriately, of course, nice, clean shaven. Also, if you're someone who has a resume, bring your resume with you if it's needed, depending on the job that you're looking for. Definitely bring it with you, because I do know people who have been hired on the spot, for where it is that they interviewed for right then and there.
That's right. And if sou pa gen résumé, c'est information qui on mette sur un papier qui montre mettre compagnie qui va employer ou là, qui expérience qui ou gagne, qui moun ou yé, li gagne nom sou li, gagne adresse sou, gagne quelqu'un qui m'a été adresse yo, li gagne objectif how sou li, so besoin qui soit chercher qui sont vle faire. Et puis, expérience, qualité de travail qui ont gagné dans toute année de travail qui ont fait déjà dans la vie. Et puis, on mettait non référence, il y a relais pour référence, on mettait ça, on mettait éducation sous les barres constant. Et puis, si que.
Skill ou gain.
Oui.
Oui, so, yes.
So, on utilisait computer ou bien ordinateur. C'est que
forklift,
spécial qualité licence, donc CDL, qualité classe CDL ou bien si que ou d'aller dans vocational school gain un spécial licence dans l'état de New Jersey. Ou quand mettre tout bagage ça sur document ça qui expliquer moun qui lié et puis mes éducation moi mes formations me fait et puis mes ça me gagne pour moun ka prendre décision, est-ce qu'il y a pas au travail là.
Il y a pas c'est mon sérieux, oui.
Et puis chaque fois que on travaille ou aller sur l'autre, vous supposez actualiser résumé, ça veut dire que vous mettez information qui actuelle sur. Si que nous besoin d'aide pour nous faire ça, si nous avons des gens qui l'école, ils vont faire ça parce que ils montrent qu'ils font ça dans l'école. C'est facile pour faire, ou employer un monde pour faire ça pour, ou bien si que un cousin, une cousine, un frère ou bien on sait, tout le monde, yon supposé aider l'autre. So, si que ou gagne qualité skill ça, pour qu'à aider un monde pour gagner un bon résumé, pour qu'à aider aux gens au travail, what's the word? Implorer nous. Oh, that's okay. My Creole's coming back. Moi implorer nous. Papa ici pour yon aider l'autre, j'en suis capable. Okay? So another job vacancy at Brookdale Community College. Do you want to tell them about this one?
Yes. The job vacancy is a position for director at a holistic wellness center. And basically what that does is, you work in the holistic wellness center. It provides vision, leadership, management, of a center and centers for services and programs. Also, the qualification for that is a master's degree in counseling, psychology, public health, and of course the annual salary, which is what everyone wants to know, is $83,380 for the year. And you can apply right on the Brookdale website at www.brookdale.ecc.edu.
Okay, so travail ça c'est un travail qui est offert de Brookdale Community College. Travail ça c'est directeur des wellness center qui est dans Brookdale Community College et puis a payé un salaire annuel 83,380 chaque année plus bénéfices. Si que nous quelqu'un qui gagne qui besoin connaître plus de travail ça, nous pas caler toute information que vous gagne là. Nous besoin connaître plus de travail ça, allez dans Brookdale CC ou bien brookdalecc.edu pour nous caler de annoncement travay sa. E pi genye Veteran Services Resource Fair ki a fe nan Merkredi 25 Oktob 1h a 4h. Tout moun ki genye eksperyans koman veteran nan Etats-Unis, yo invite nou pou nou partisipe. Se County Monmouth kap fe sa, Division de Aging, Disabilities and Veteran Services. Sa se division pou moun ki gran moun yo. Nan Resource Fair sa ki a fe, yo genye Assistance Hands, Home Care, Bridging the Gap, Brookdale Veteran Center, Caregiver Volunteers of Central Jersey, Coastal Habitat of Humanity, Community Hope, Monmouth County Clerk's Office. They're going to be providing ID cards to the veterans. Monmouth County Division on Aging, Disability and Veteran Services. Ça c'est pour Monmouth County Division of Aging. Ça c'est une division qui était créée pour tout le monde qui senior citizen, qui grand monde qui besoin de services, qui besoin de bénéfices, monde qui entre dans l'âge. Supposé gen officiel dans freehold, nous avons simplement fait une recherche dans Google pour nous joindre numéro de téléphone, relais mon yo, nous joindre yo. Si nous pas capable d'écrire, demander pour yo mettre un interprète sous ligne pour nous commencer à poser des questions, pour nous commencer à connecter nous ensemble avec ressources que ou même comme citoyen américain ou bien monde qui vivent dans l'Amérique qui travaille pour pays, qui souhaitait par son couler pour payer et puis qu'on y a au grand monde, il est supposé prendre soin de tout. Il y a aide appliquer pour social sécurité, pour service tout le monde qui entre dans l'âge supposé gagner dans le pays. Okay, and then they're also going to have Monmouth County Workforce Development, Soldiers On, South Jersey Legal Services, and more. So again, it's going to be October 25th from 1 to 5, and it's going to be, where is it? Is it going to be? It's going to be at the Monmouth County Library in Manalapan, 125 Symes Drive, Manalapan. Okay. All right. So the other thing that we have, so Asbury Park is doing a housing survey. They're doing a housing survey because they want to know how accessible is affordable housing in Asbury Park. That's a loaded question,
It
right?
is, yes.
Because if you guys have been to Asbury Park, you see all the development that's going on, you know, all the changing of demographics that's going on in Asbury Park. And sometimes if you lack the formation, education, the skills, the understanding, the know-how, the knowledge, you may get pushed by the wayside, and other people who are savvy in this subject matter, they are the ones that get ahead of the game, and they're the ones that are provided these types of resources. When affordable housing is supposed to be for people who are, you know, low income,
Yes,
or moderate income,
yes,
right? Because we do have a threshold here.
yes.
So affordable housing for the city of Asbury Park. I'm really sorry, my glasses are really bad.
Want me to read it?
So if you, this is the kind of housing that they would provide under affordable housing. So this is the income level. If your income level is very low, you could end up paying $653 for a 1-bedroom. For a 2-bedroom, you'll pay $746, and for a 3-bedroom, you'll pay $884. If it's low, it's $1140, $1331, $1561, and if it's moderate, $1384, $1624, $1899. So, and then they have the income threshold. So if your household is a household of one, for very low is $27,000. That's all you need to make in order for you to be able to qualify for a $650 bedroom, 1-bedroom apartment.
And that's only for very low.
That's very low.
Yeah.
So for low, you only need to make $45,000 for a 2-bedroom. Okay, and then for moderate, you only need to make $72,000 for a 3-bedroom. So, you guys, there's affordable housing in almost every county.
Every
broken
county.
down
Yes.
to even different towns, but you have to apply for them.
Yes.
And you have to meet the qualifications. So Asbury Park is doing a survey, and they did send it to us to translate it to Creole for the Haitian population. So if you are interested in doing this survey, so you can let them know what biases you have faced in the past when trying to apply for affordable housing, so that they can fix these problems, so you too can have equal access to being able to apply and be able to meet the requirements to get these affordable housings. Then you should reach out to the radio station and let somebody know that you want to take that survey, so that we can get it to the city of Asbury Park, so that your voice can be counted.
Absolutely.
in
Explain your
these matters.
grievances, because I know a lot of people who have had difficulty, even people who are living in affordable housing now. I mean, just recently in the news, earlier this week, there was someone actually that I know that I used to work with who, was on the news and explaining some of the difficulties that they're having just getting maintenance and getting things that should be fixed done, like a hole in the roof or patchwork here or there done, and, nothing is happening, but yet they're still paying rent because they need a place to stay. So explain your grievances and let them know this is what's been going on, because, even though it's affordable housing, it's technically your home, and you of course want to be able to, feel safe and, be health wise, definitely be, okay, especially if you have children.
Absolutely. And so, so if you guys are interested in this survey, please feel free to reach out to the radio station 732-7500, 732-77505. So let us know that you want to take the survey, and then we'll get it to. As I let you know before, Asbury Park has a community farm stand in which they are giving away free produce all the way up until October. So this is the last week that I'll be announcing this, I think, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay. So the next thing I want to tell you about is the senior tax freeze. So the senior tax freeze is it's basically for senior citizens, right? And I think you guys were listening to Senator Vin Gopal in the segment prior to this one. So he's the one who's announcing this for the seniors. So the senior freeze is a property tax reimbursement program, which the deadline for you to apply for this is October 31st. You may be eligible for senior freeze property tax rebate if you were 65 or older on December 31st, 2021, lived continuously in New Jersey since December 31st, 2011. You owned and lived in your own current home since December 31st, 2018. Your total annual income was in 2021, 94,000 or less. In 2022, 99,000 or less. And the deadline to do so is October 31st. You want to say that in Creole?
Yes. So senior tax freeze, ça c'est pour moun qui 65 ans. Et comme c'est sur un caille, ils mettent un tax freeze sur caille ou pas besoin de taxe là. Et puis au cas fil pour les online by 31 octobre. Et puis sous tes 65 ans, le 31 décembre 2021, ou qualify pour les sous tes vivre dans New Jersey sans pas move, adresse c'est l'allié, c'est l'autorité 31 décembre 2011 ou qualify pour les.
Yeah, ABC Sécurité fait moins que $94,000 en 2021, et puis ou fait moins que $99,000 pour l'année 2021. Vous pouvez appliquer pour ça. Si nous voulons appliquer, si nous avons 65 ans ou bien plus, nous étions dans l'État de New Jersey depuis 2021, et puis vous continuez à être dans l'État de New Jersey, dans Cryo, depuis 2011. Et puis, kontinye, se ou men ki met kay lan depi 2018, pou met aplike. Si ke nou vle aplike, rele numéro téléphone 732 695 33 71. 732 695 33 71. Numéro téléphone ça, c'est numéro office sénateur dans district 11. C'est eux qui t'a parlé ensemble avec nous tout à l'heure. Okay, so they were also discussing voting. So I'm going to announce to you guys, which I've been announcing. I think voting is very important. Everybody should participate, especially like last Saturday, we had a whole show about voting and how we provided some education on how people fought hard. People lost their lives, okay? People were assaulted. The worst things that you can imagine that would happen to someone happen to people, so we can have the right to vote.
Yes.
You know, and so now we do have the right to vote. So we ought to, you know, not take that for granted and really exercise that right and go out and vote. But we talked about doing our research and making sure that we know who we're voting for.
Yes.
We don't do party line voting. We don't encourage that at all. We actually encourage people to vote their conscience. That means you vote for the candidate that you see that their goals and their agendas line up to what works for you and your family and your community.
Yes.
We're not going to vote straight Democrat just because, you know, my mother or my father or my community or someone told me to vote for Democrats. That's
Correct.
not what we're doing.
No.
We're not going to vote for Republicans for the same reasons. We're not doing that. We want you guys to know the issues and know the people that are on the ballot and know if they are for you or if they're not for you. I mean, people can say they're for you and then they turn around and do something,
Correct.
you know, the opposite. So once they've shown you who they are, believe who they are. And that should be able to help you make your decision.
And
right?
that's why there are terms, you know, specifically for reasons like that. You know, and like Elna was saying, you know, voting is important. And if anything, in the last couple of years has shown us, if voting wasn't important, there wouldn't be certain states trying to change certain laws and making it more difficult for people to register to vote. So
we talked about that too.
yeah, so
All the tactics and all
Yes.
the gimmicks and all the ploys, the games that they play, you know, with people's rights. So so early voting is happening again, and I think early voting is here to stay, which is a great thing because you don't want to be out there voting on November 7th with everybody else because you're going to be waiting in line. So why not take advantage of early voting, which starts Saturday, October 28th through Sunday, November 5th. The hours are going to be Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For our area, it's going to be at the Neptune Township Senior Center, which is 1607 Corley's Avenue in Neptune. Okay. And then the general election is November 7th from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
yes. Pour moun ki bezwen vote, so vle ou ka fe early voting, et puis early voting commence samedi 28 octobre, rive a dimanche 5 novembre, et puis ou ka fel lundi à samedi 10h du matin pour 8h du soir, et puis dimanche 10h du matin 6h du soir, la Neptune Senior Center, adresse là c'est 1607 Corley's Avenue, Neptune, New Jersey.
Okay, so now I just have a few words of encouragement. Difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. Don't quit and never give up. That's what we're talking about. Because home buying can be very daunting. It could be exhausting, overwhelming. It could be stressful.
Yes.
It could give you anxiety. I don't want to be like doom and gloom because at the end of all that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You end up getting your mortgage and you end up buying your house and you're happy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But before that, it could be some people quit. A lot of people quit.
Yeah.
Right?
They do.
They're like, oh, this is too much. I can't. You know, and so they quit.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to quit. We want you to stay the course, right? Because good things comes to those who wait,
Exactly.
right? And if you work hard and be persistent, you're going to be able to achieve your goals.
Yes.
You know,
It's kind of like
So-
any feeling that you've ever, something that you've ever worked hard for, whether it be a diploma or degree or whatever, something that you know that you worked hard for and studied and put in the work. And once you cross that finish line, you felt, definitely good and happy because and you felt like you achieved something. And that's what the home buying process is.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna say it again, and then maybe we'll say it in Creole too.
Yeah.
So my word to encourage you throughout your home buying process, or your investment property buying process, or even your business building process, is difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. So stay the course, don't quit, and never give up. Can we say in Creole?
Oh, yes. So, gen yon bagay ki difisil lop fel, kom si lop konzi, ou ka wap konzi epi ou even on wot ki difisil. Men, depo rete sou wot nan, mem se sil difisil, lor rive the end of the road, lor rive nan destinasyon an, wap wel li beautiful. On bel bagay paske ou te rete sou li, ou trave sou li epi ou you reach that finish line.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to move on with our topic for today. What is the process you need to go through to secure funding for your offer? So we do have our caller on the line.
Yeah.
So we're going to go straight to the call right now.
Yes. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Lynn, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. You're currently online right now. It's myself and Elna.
Hi, Lynn. How are you? Thanks for being on with us. Really appreciate it.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right. So good times. We're going to be discussing, what is the process that people will need to go through to secure funding or offer. But before we do so, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I got into the industry about 8 years ago. I had my real estate license. So I started with that, was selling houses. And for the last few years, I've been doing mortgages now. So I'm a mortgage lender currently for Annie Mac Home Mortgage. So basically what I do is I help people get loans so they could purchase a house. And typically that loan is paid off over 30 years. So that's going to be your typical loan. That's what we see most often.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll translate that real quick and then we'll move on with the rest of it. So, nous gen soulign nan sama avec nou Lynn, li se on moun ki ka ede nou chache ou bien jwen mortgage pou nou ka achete kay. Li di kon sa, li te komanse nan industri sa 8 ans passé, li gen 8 ans. Li te komanse, li te yon agent de real estate, jan ke mwen men ansama avec Greg Nouyer. Li di kon sa, lel fin ede moun achete kay. Li tourne konya la travay nan parti mortgage nan pou ka ede moun sekure mortgage pou yo ka achete kay. Li di kon sa li spesyalize nan ede moun ansama avec Fannie Mac pou yo ka jwen sous kob ki pou mortgage lan pou yo ka achete kay lan. Konya nap kite l kontinye e pi map translate pou sa di ya.
Okay. Lynn, you can continue on.
So Lynn, if you want to go ahead and continue with telling us exactly, because you're a mortgage lender, if you can walk us from beginning to end when a buyer is thinking, oh, you know what, I think I'm ready to purchase a house.
Once they start having that thought.
They start having that thought and they know that they don't have like $500,000, in their pockets to purchase a house. They're going to have to reach out to a lender. Can you start from when they reach out to you? What will they have to go through? Like, what kind of forms will they need to provide? What are the time frames? Tell us the whole thing.
Yeah, good question. So exactly. So if someone knows they want to purchase a house, the first step would be getting pre-approved. So when getting pre-approved, I basically review their credit and their income and how much debt they have. So once I do that, we could use what's called a debt to income ratio. And I'll try to just keep it as simple as possible. I review those 3 things to see if they qualify. So if they qualify, after I review their income, their debts, and their credit, I write what's called a pre-approval. And once they have a pre-approval, they're ready to put an offer on a house. And there's a few different ways they could do it. There's different loans. There's conventional, there's FHA. You could put down as low as 3%. And after they do that and the pre-approval is issued, they're then available to make offers on houses that are listed for sale.
Awesome. And so this is our topic today about making offers, right? So what would do you have any information on what's considered to be like a good offer on a house, or how does someone go about, deciding like, okay, I found a house that's $450,000 on the market right now. So do I consider my pocket and say, make a offer that's lower than the 450? Should I give them what they're asking for, or should I go above?
Great question. So it seems like everything's selling over ask nowadays. We're seeing low inventory, and it just seems like the really desirable houses are going for above asking price. So what you'll see a lot, and your agents can help you with that, is, running some comparables. So if you're in a neighborhood and everything's selling for higher, you might know you need to offer a little bit higher. If it's been sitting for a longer period of time, then it's kind of a green light for a lower offer there. So that's the first thing I look at. If it's brand new to the market and they're getting, showings, every half hour, it's probably going to be a competitive listing, and you might need to make the terms better, a little bit more down. So putting down 20% compared to 3%, you might look a little bit better. Putting down maybe a bigger deposit at the beginning, you might look a little bit better. Going conventional over FHA, you might look a little bit better. So there's different factors you could do that if it comes down to a multiple offer situation, you can make yourself look a little bit stronger and have a better chance of winning that.
Okay, awesome. Can I take a moment to just translate what you just said?
Absolutely.
Okay, so dis kon sa ke lè ke ou deside ke ou bezwen achete an kay, premye bagay ke ou gen pou fè, se pou rele moun ke ou ta vle entre nan relasyon sama vek li pou ka jwen mortgage lan, kompanyen, epi pou resevwa sa rele on let, rele pre-approval let. Sa se let ki yo deja approuve ou kob ke ou bezwen pou achete kay lan. Ça, au premièrement, il y a prend numéro social ensemble avec toute l'autre information pour yo ka ouais qui qualité crédit ou gagner. Et puis tout, il y a gardé niveau comme que ou doué dans toute qualité crédit card ou bien l'autre caille que ou gagner ou bien machine bagay comme ça. Combien comme que ou doué moun verser ensemble avec versus
versus
kob ke wap entre an dan kay ou sa yo rele sa income. Okay, so yo bezwen gade pou yo we eske kob ke ou entre an dan kay lan li plus ke kob ke ou dwe moun, paske yo bezwen konen ke ou ka paye pou mortgage sa ke ou pal pran nan men yo. E bi li di kon sa, le ke yo we ke ou kwalifiye pou li, ya ba ou let lan ki di approuvé ou déjà approuvé pour qu'on mette un offre sous Kaila. C'est ça la petite offre. Offre, c'est dès que vous fin al gade Kaila ensemble avec real estate agent, et puis Kaila, du pour exemple, Kaila c'est un Kaila qui est $500,000. On y a offre, c'est ça, c'est comme que ou même ensemble avec agent décidé ou offrir moun ka prendre Kaila pour acheter Kaila. Et puis il expliquer que si Kaila si ou gen un mortgage qui conventionnel ou bien un mortgage FHA, ou bien un FHA ou ka mette 3%, si ki conventionnel ou ka mette 20%, lè ke ou ap mette offrian, lè ke ou gen un mortgage qui conventionnel, sa pi bon, parce que yo
le plus avantage pour vous.
Il y a plus avantage parce que yo plus remet mortgage qui conventionnel que mortgage qui FHA. Et bien, il dit comme ça, soit regardez pour voir combien de temps que Kaila te sous market là. Si Kaila te sous market là, on paquet de jours, on y a on mettre un offre qui moins que ça a demandé. si ke kote kay lan yen, lokasyon vreman important nan real estate.
Mhm.
Si ke kote kay lan yen, wè lot kay ki nan la kou ou bien nan
quartier.
site, nan katye, wè ki jan yo van, ki jan kay yo ye tout bagay sa yo, sa ka ede ou mèm ansam avèk real estate agent ou an pou pran desisyon, eske nan mette yon ofri ki mwen ke sa yap mande ou bien plus ke sa yap mande. E pi market sa, son market ki chaud, li komanse desan oui, mais li kontinye chaud paske intérêt yo trop gros, moun yo pa vle vendre kay yo, so ça veut dire que moun kap vendre kay yo besoin pour offrir yo kop ke yo mande ou pour kay lan ou bien plus.
Mhm.
Okay? Did I capture everything?
Yes.
Okay.
So Lynn, can we talk about, I guess, what is a rejection-proof offer? You know, so say someone makes an offer, what is the best possible way for it not to get rejected?
Not to get rejected. That's a good question. If there's multiple offers, it's hard. It's going to come down to a number of factors, and price is going to be that main factor. So sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you go in blind, but having everything, getting underwritten approval is another step. So having all the documents actually be reviewed by the underwriter. So, you know, when I do get someone pre-approved, there's a difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. To actually get a full pre-approval, you know, you're going to send in all your income documents. So you're going to send in your W-2s for the past 2 years, or your 1099s if you're an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to send your pay stubs for the past 30 days, and you're going to send your bank statements for the past 2 months. So that's what an underwriter wants to see to issue a full pre-approval. And once that's underwritten, you're going to be much stronger. And especially if there's no other offers and you're coming in at asking price, it's going to be very hard to say no to that.
Okay.
Awesome.
And also, I know that even with rejection proof, you know, waiving certain contingencies, is that still something that you see that's still, I guess, ongoing in this market?
Yeah, great question. So that's pretty advanced strategy. And sometimes, you know, especially when I was an agent, sometimes it takes losing one or two to, you know, realize how competitive it is out there. So what a lot of people are doing, there's certain contingencies when you make an offer, such as an appraisal contingency, such as an inspection contingency. So if you're competing against cash, a lot of the times they don't have an appraisal contingency. So what you can do, let's say you're putting down 20%, you could say, if I'm making an offer for $400,000, let's say it appraises for less than that, I agree to make up the difference in the case of an underappraisal. So what you could do in a situation like that is come out of pocket extra, or you could adjust 20% down to, let's say, 10%, cover the difference, and then now you've covered the difference in appraisal. And when you make an offer like that, it's much more similar to a cash offer because there's no appraisal that's going to get in the way. What's also people are doing is saying they're going to waive their inspection contingency, and maybe they limit it. Maybe they say we're going to waive our inspection contingency unless we find major structural or environmental issues, let's say mold, you know, foundation issues. So that's another strategy you could use. If it's very competitive, you could say, hey, I'm not going to nitpick you. I just want to make sure nothing's not terribly wrong with the house. And if it's not, I'm going to buy it. So like I said, more of an advanced strategy. You like to keep your contingencies in place.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really love the house and there's a lot of different offers on it, you know, you got to do something to stand out. And I've made offers on houses for myself, and I've done that strategy, and I've won before. So sometimes that's what it takes in a competitive market.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Lynn, is there anything else you would like any further information you'd like to offer? Because I do have a few more questions.
Yeah, I would say if you are looking to start the process, getting pre-approved is your first step. I'd be happy to help you with that. Having your income documents organized and ready to go are a big step, because oftentimes I find someone who wants to get pre-approved and they don't have everything organized, or, you know, they don't know they need to be working for 2 years, or they just got a job, or they've changed jobs, or, you know, on their taxes. This is a really good point here. Sometimes someone might be making $100,000 on their own business. Let's say they have a painting business, let's say they make $100,000 a year, but when it comes to tax time, they write everything off,
Yeah.
you know, and they don't claim any income. You know, they might have $100,000 in their pocket, but if they write everything off, they're not showing that, and the lender is going to look at that. And if we can't see the income, we can't use the income. So you might save on taxes, but you might not qualify for a loan.
Right.
So that's a big thing to consider. Sometimes it's worth claiming a little bit, paying a little bit of taxes, and actually being able to qualify for a loan.
So basically, if you know that you are interested in buying a property, you know, the next 2 years, instead of writing everything off, like you have been, you know, showing that you're making more of an income so that, you know, it's easier, or the process is easier for you instead of making it more difficult.
Precisely.
Now, that's not the same thing as itemizing on a personal side, right?
No, that would be different. And
Okay.
I'm not a tax guy, but if let's just say you're claiming a lot of expenses as a real estate agent, a lot of times you're going to claim a lot of expenses.
Mhm.
If you claim too many, you're going to claim less income, and you might not qualify for that loan.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, regarding the documents that people have to supply, I heard you say taxes, W 1099 if they're independent contractor. What other documents would be required for the pre-approval?
So we always like to see a copy of the driver's license. If you have another house, we want to see your mortgage statement and proof of homeowner's insurance. If you're collecting, let's say, Social Security or pension, we're going to want to see, you know, your award letter and a bank statement to show that you're actually getting that money. You know, if you are self-employed, we'll want to see the last 2 years' tax returns. So for the most part, if you're a veteran, we'll want to see your DD 214, which basically just proves you were in the military and are now eligible for a VA loan. So for the most part, the most basic is going to be your W-2 and your 30 days pay stubs and your bank statements. For the most part, that's what most people are going to need.
Okay, and what is your time frame like for the client to turn around and give you those documents?
Great question. So once I have those documents and I have everything I need, I can get a pre-approval out that day. But sometimes, you know, once we start this process, people realize they maybe need to get their credit score up. They need to show a little bit more income. So that's also another thing. If you're looking at even buying a year from now, it might be worth having a conversation, because if your credit score is a little bit lower, there's things I could do on my end. You know, we could run it through our simulator, and we could say, hey, if you pay down this debt, this credit card, you know, it will boost your score by a certain amount of points. Or if you do this, or take yourself off as an authorized user. You know, there's a bunch of different strategies we can use to raise your score so that when it comes time to buy a house, you'll have the best rates possible and you'll be able to qualify.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good to know, because I know that that's a barrier that a lot of people face when trying to engage in real estate transaction. You know, the
Yes,
credit issue.
absolutely.
Especially the simulator where you can get or have that discussion and, you know, get an idea of what it is that you need to do in order to improve your score and hopefully get pre-approved.
Yeah,
It's
and
very helpful. So let me say this. So an FHA, the minimum to qualify for an FHA is a 580 credit score. The minimum for a conventional is a 620. So let's say you want to get a conventional loan and you're right around a 600. There's going to be things we could do to get you up to a 620, 630, 650. It might take a little bit of time. So doing that in advance is a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And for our members, hold on one second. Before I get to this next question, how long is the offer good for, like the mortgage offer, once they get that pre-approval letter?
Great question. So typically we'll do a hard pull on your credit, but a lot of people don't like that. So if we just want to, you know, check and everything else looks good, we could do a soft pull, which instead of all 3 bureaus, we'll only take from 1 bureau. So we'll do a soft pull and we'll issue a pre-approval for 90 days. After that 90 days, if you want to make another offer, let's say, we would just do another soft pull and make sure there weren't any major changes to your credit score, your income. So we just want to make sure you still have your job. We want to make sure you didn't go out and buy a new car or a boat, something like that, something that could, really mess with that transaction. And that's another thing. When you're under contract with a house, don't make any major purchases, take out credit cards, stuff like that, because that will impact your credit. And that could be a negative draw when you're trying to purchase a house.
Yes.
Yeah, very good point. So what about people who already own homes and may want to pull from, their home equity to be able to purchase a second property? Do you do that too?
Yeah, another great question. So yeah, we offer what we call in the business a HELOC, which stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. So when you get a home equity line of credit, let's say your house has gone up a lot, you've paid down your mortgage over the last few years, now your house is worth $500,000 and you only owe $200,000. You then have that $300,000 in equity, which then you could tap into. And it's basically like a credit card. We could use that equity and treat it like a credit card, and you could borrow that $300,000 for a set amount of interest, and you could use that in a purchase of, let's say, to pay down other debts, to purchase a new home. So that's going to be one option. There's also another option to refinance. So let's say you only owe $200,000 on it, and your house is worth $500,000. We could then take out a big chunk of that and refinance you at that new $500,000 number, and get you, it's called a cash out refinance, put a lot of that money back in your pocket and restructure the loan. So now you have that money to go make offers on another house. And another important note is you could have up to 10 mortgages at one time. So if you get what a good strategy is, if you get a personal loan, as a personal residence loan, your primary residence loan, and you live there for 1 year, after 1 year, you could then move out and buy another home. So what a lot of people do is they'll buy a house as their primary residence. They'll live in it for 1 year. After that 1 year, they'll move out, buy another house, and rent out the last home. And then after the next year, they'll do it again. It's a great way of building wealth.
Yeah.
Every year, or every 2 years, let's say, you could buy a new house, rent out the old one, and you could still do that minimum down payment, and you could still buy it as a primary residence. So you still get that better interest rate.
Okay. Right. And what about, I guess, making offers on multiple homes? What if someone is looking and they do want to do that and maybe purchase a home and use it as more of an investment property, and they look at two homes at the same time and want to put in an offer? Is that possible? Or would you recommend it?
Yeah, so, it's easier to take it one step at a time. But if you're buying one as your primary and see one that's great for an investment, it's possible. So you could buy one as a primary, and then you could take out an investment loan. Investment loans they're considered a higher risk loan, so the interest rate will be slightly higher, and you typically have to put down 15 to 25%. So you have to take out a little bit more out of pocket to do it. But yes, as long as your credit, your income is good enough to sustain both mortgages, you can do that. Another thing, if you're buying it as investment and you plan to rent it out, we can use what's called proposed rental income. So let's say your mortgage is going to be $2,000 a month, but we see that the area is renting for $2,000 a month. We can offset that $2,000 with the potential rent, and now we don't have to use that against your debt. So that's another good strategy of purchasing a home as an investment. You could use that proposed rental income, it's called.
Awesome. Other questions?
No, I think that's it for the most part. Do you have any more?
No, nothing, because it's we're close to our time. Lynn, I really do appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you would like to say to our listeners? And then I'll try to summarize everything you just said.
Yeah, I would basically say, Facebook, Instagram, Lynn Parry. If you want to reach out, I could provide my phone number as well. And I could help with all this stuff. I could walk you through it. We could do the credit check, a soft pull, so it won't affect your credit. You just make sure you're prepared, because sometimes this comes up quick. And if you find a house you really want to buy and you're not prepared, you could lose out on it. So, if you ever want to talk, I'm available to help at any time. Even if you're a year, 2 years out, I'm available to give some advice. And we could talk through Greg. Whatever makes it easier, we can make that happen.
And we do have your contact information, so we are going to provide it to the listeners when they reach out to us. going to steer them in your direction. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the great information, and we look forward to continue working together.
Yeah, this has been great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Take
Lloyd.
care. You're welcome to come anytime. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so that was really great information. I hope you guys were listening. So I'm gonna try to translate, and you can help Greg some of the stuff that he just said. So basically, he said in Creole.
Creole.
Li di kon sa, si ke nou gen yon kredi score de 580 pou FHA, nou ka achete yon kay. Si ke ou gen yon kredi score 620 pou konvensyonel, ou ka achete yon kay, epi yo gen yon model ki yo utilize, yo le sa rapid rescoring.
Simulation, yeah.
Yo yon simulasyon ki yo utilize pou yo ka montre ou si ke ou paye kredi card sa off, men niveau kredi score monte. Yo fè sa, mba kwa yo chaje pou sa, yo pa chaje pou sa, paske si yo edo fè sa, yo gen espoir ke wap, yo ka approve pou mortgage lan, epi business lan se pal yo ye.
Yeah, so
se pou rezon sa yo ofri kalite servis sa. Li di yon paket bagay we, li di kon sa leke non rele li pou mortgage lan, epi si ke non bezon rele li pou mortgage lan, ou ka rele mwen men ansam avek Greg. Greg, what's your phone number? En Creole.
848 456 0573.
Okay. Epi mwen, numéro téléphone mwen se 848 466 66 61. Regarde 6.
Yes.
Okay. 848 466 66 61. Et il dit constant que les nous relève pour mortgage, nous avons besoin W2 nous, ça c'est IRX document.
Income tax,
yeah.
yeah.
Tax, on a besoin de 30 jours pay stub.
Sous chèque, non?
Sous chèque là, et puis statement banque là.
Bon, statement. Si nous, comme si belle nous ouais qui sort dans banque là, qui montre nos statement là pour moi, c'est ça n'a pas besoin. Ça c'est basic information là nous besoin pour le cas faire, pour le cas garder pour le cas pre-approve non.
Et puis si que y a besoin de licence nous pour identification. Si que ou son monde qui a collecté social ou bien pension, y a besoin lettre que vous voyez dans commencement année qui montre combien corps qui a touché pour la pension, ça avec nous. Là. Et puis, il y a besoin de 2 années income tax return si que ou même c'est ou même qui employé tête ou ça veut dire ou pas gain boss, c'est ou même qui boss tête ou parce que ou gain parce que besoin ça pour et puis il y a besoin d'informations pour tout si que sont vétérans, ça veut dire ou monde qui te combat pour pays ou t'es dans l'armée pays et puis you connaît qui bénéfice qui compte by pour monde ça yo. Et puis, il t'a offert quelques conseils pour les gens qui déjà ont un caillou, qui a besoin de retirer ça relais. HELOC, ça c'est crédit, en ligne de crédit, qui sortit dans l'équité qui gagne dans caillou. C'est comme ça que les fonctionner dans un crédit card. Si ou t'es acheté un caillou, ou t'es acheté pour $250, mais qu'on y a market ça, ça a 500 combien? $530 qu'on y a. Qu'on y a, ça veut dire que ou gain $300,000 équité dans caille ou ka retirer dans coup $100,000 là-dedans pour faire ce que vous besoin faire. Il y a des gens qui connaissent retirer équité pour acheter un autre caille et puis il t'expliquer tout, il y a un paquet de monde qui fait comme ça pour yo ka build, pour yo ka build, pour yo ka grandir l'argent de génération en génération. Il dit comme ça que il y a des gens qui achètent un caille, ils étaient dans caille pour année, après une année, ils râlent et quittent et puis ils mettent sur l'autre caille, ils achètent caille ça, ils étaient là, après ça ils font encore, ils ont fait ça 10 fois.
Ouais.
Pour les gens qui personnel.
On a gagné 10 cailles en bas non.
Ça veut dire que on build un portfolio, un tableau de
real estate
que ou même ou gain personnel que on peut utiliser pour ka petit cadeau, ka petit cadeau, ka ou ka komanse investe l'argent dans stock market yo ou bien acheter l'autre propriété, l'autre côté dans l'autre état, dans l'autre pays même ou ka faire ça parce que kounya ou gagné bon cob.
Right.
They don't know. So ça c'est toute information nous te gen pour aujourd'hui. I think I had a conclusion, right?
Yes.
So, in conclusion, a good offer can get you your foot in the door and help you to get the home of your dreams, especially if you follow the tips that were provided today. And I think Lynn was able to provide us a lot of the tips that we were going to go over.
Yes.
So basically, when you're making an offer, making sure that the offer is rejection proof. You want to make sure that the price is right. You want to show proof of your pre-qualification or pre-approval.
Yes.
We say pre-approval, not
Pre-qualification.
pre-qualification.
Because you want the pre-approval.
Yeah, you could be pre-qualified and not have a mortgage commitment.
Yes.
But when you have a pre-approval, you basically have a mortgage commitment because that means they did a hard pull and they ran your credit and they see that they are going to give you this money,
Right.
in 30, 60, 90 days if everything else continues to check out.
This is in fact what you'll be approved for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you might want to offer more money as a down payment. For it to be a good offer, you should consider putting 5%. You could put 1 to 3% down, but 5% will make you stand out above everybody else and probably make the seller want to accept your offer above everybody else's.
Yes.
Waive your certain contingencies, right? So, if there's like simple little things, that you don't want to be nitpicky about stuff, like if it's something that you can do yourself, like forget about it.
Yes.
Just it's gonna cost me $100. I'm not gonna make a big fuss about it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and then I don't know if we should say include an escalation clause because some people
It's a little
might
bit more
not wanna do
complicated.
that,
Yeah,
and it's
especially.
more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the tips that we had for you. So you might want to consider doing some of those things to make yourself more attractive in your offer. But you may have competition on your hands if it's a property with a lot of interest from other buyers. With these tips on how to make an offer more attractive, you have the advantage when it comes to drawing from the seller's attention. So ultimately, making an offer to buy a house, it can be stressful and it can be competitive, but there are things that you can do to make yourself more appealing.
You have to use different tactics.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like writing a letter, putting in an offer, over asking, or paying down more, like Lynn said, on the deposit side. You definitely, it's like a game of chess. Sometimes you have to really come up with different tactics in order to get your offer approved and to cross that finish line of, owning the home.
That's right. And that's all we have for you today. So I want to thank you, everyone, for listening to Family Matters on Good News Radio. If you missed us today, you can hear us again tomorrow from 3 to 4 on WYGT 88.1 FM, or you can go to Facebook. Don't forget to leave a comment or like us on Facebook. So you were listening to Good News Community Action. This is a program. This was a program presented to you by Good News Community Action called Family Matters. It is designed to help build a community of listeners who are actively engaged in meaningful discussion to promote communication, education, empowerment, encouragement, and elevation of our families. So until next time, thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Bonsoir tout le monde.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having me, and I hope to hear from you again.
We all can agree that raising a family in these times is challenging, with everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it. How do we find the balance?
Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics, because once I get home, they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Nicholson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matters Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
This is WLGG 88.1 FM, Asbury Park.